What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What's cracking, what's cracking, what's cracking? Back with another reaction video. So, a friend of mine sent two Stephen A. Smith-centric videos to me and asked me if I could react to them. He knows what I think about Stephen A. Smith. He knows I'm not a big fan of Stephen A. Smith, as I'm not a fan of many of the reporters, journalists, and analysts. But while I do have my disagreements with them, and I really only call them out when I feel like they're being untruthful, leaving out context, putting out revisionist history, lies, that's the really only time I have a problem. Their opinion is their opinion, but when you start making stuff up to fit your narrative, I got to call you out on it. But he said that these are two Stephen A. Smith videos that he thinks that I would actually agree with Stephen A. So I was like, well, I'll take a look at it if you send it to me. So the title of this, I haven't watched any of them. It says, "Stop with that. Stephen A. doesn't think Butler is harder to guard than LeBron and KD." First of all, who the hell? Never mind. I don't even know why this is a topic. It's blasphemous. But anyway, here we are. I'm gonna listen to it, see what the conversation, the debate's about, and talk about it.
Jay Williams is my brother. I love him to death. I even let him wear my ties. I even let him go into my office and wear my ties. He's sitting in my seat. I let him wear my ties. You know what I'm saying? I got number love for him.
See how he turns it on.
But it's asinine stuff like this that drives me crazy because the man knows basketball. He says stuff just to rile me up. This was a shot at Stephen A. That's what this was. He knew that he was going to get on my nerves with that answer. And he lives to do this, ladies and gentlemen. He lives to do this.
I do enjoy
Jimmy Butler is great.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is great. I'm throwing no shade against Jimmy Butler. But harder to guard than Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers this game has ever seen. Harder to guard than 6'9", 260-pound LeBron James, who can take you inside or outside, although his three-point shooting wasn't the greatest this off.
So I don't know if they're going to be coming at Aaron Gordon for his comments, because I see at the bottom there, it says, Jimmy, per Aaron Gordon, Jimmy is a difficult cover for different reasons than the guys I've guarded in the past, like KD and Bron. So for Gordon, he's just saying, he could be saying all these guys are difficult to guard. But Jimmy, for me, at least for me, is difficult to guard for a very certain reason. But then you can say the same for LeBron. He's difficult to guard for different reasons than Jimmy and KD or anybody else. Without talking to Gordon, he could mean it that way, but I'll let this video continue.
This postseason, I'll give you that. The point that I'm trying to make is, look, y'all, I love Jimmy Butler. I've known him for years. The brother's special, no doubt about it. Top 5 come postseason time. The brother's something special. Harder to guard than LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Y'all need to stop.
Listen,
Y'all need to stop, okay? He didn't stop pump faking until Game 7. I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, listen, we know that Jimmy Butler can ball. We know that he's the star. We hope that he can win the championship. I'm rooting for the brother. You understand? We don't root against Jimmy Butler. But to sit up there and say, and I understand schematically because Eric Spoelstra put him in certain positions, even though the ball is still in his hands most of the damn time when somebody else gets it because Jimmy Butler gives it to them. The fact of the matter is, he ain't harder to guard than LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Now you getting ridiculous. And this is the kind of stuff, Jay. This is the kind of stuff.
I feel like I'm right.
I wish that the board.
All right, so they're talking about Jay, whether this is what Aaron Gordon meant or not, Jay Williams is saying, hands down, Jimmy is more difficult to guard than KD and LeBron. But I'll let Jay speak. Now I've seen players where it's like they may do a admirable job on like somebody, let's say KD and LeBron, but for whatever reason, this specific player has a problem with guarding another player for whatever reason. But generally across the board, I can't say Jimmy's harder to guard than KD and Bron.
Boardroom, I wish you would still moderate in the boardroom because I would dare you to say that to Kevin Durant's face. I would dare you to say it to his face.
This year I would say it to his face. What am I?
Kevin Durant.
Me out. I'm already here for it. I don't care. I'm going to speak my damn mind. I learn from you every day.
So much shade in this
I still don't believe you believe that.
Okay.
You can't believe that.
I just have to
You
say
know
one thing.
you're too knowledgeable about basketball to believe
can I just say one thing? Why did he have to reference that he's doing an interview and what? Like, what was that? Was that just like a random humble
Would you like me to
brag
answer? Would you like me to answer?
Nothing to do with anything. And shout to Rich Kleiman in the boardroom. No, I don't want you to answer.
No answer.
I just want Monica to go.
Okay, Stephen A., I apologize for this then because we're going to get you riled up a little bit more.
Tell him.
I happen to agree in this particular postseason.
Oh my God!
I think it's
my Lord.
very important.
Please.
Listen, you being like the people on the internet that's not listening, Stephen A. In this particular postseason, the two other guys you're talking about, KD was coming back from an injury. I think Jay made great points in terms of that offense coming together, right? I think LeBron obviously was a little bit hobbled by that foot, and I think you also, I would make the argument that when Jimmy goes off is just as important to the actual numbers in the scoring category. And when you look at guys that got to the semifinals or later in this postseason, Jimmy's leading the way in terms of fourth quarter scoring.
Tell him again.
So, like, it is not just how he does it, but sort of when he does it as far as a clutch time performer, fourth quarter performer. In this particular postseason, I think that's a fair assessment, Stephen A. Now, we're talking any regular day, that's different.
Monica McNutt, couple of things. Number one, Jay Williams, I would caution you not to lean like that because you're reminding the world of Emmitt Smith on television. Not in a football field, but on television. Every word he said, he did go like this. He would turn around and he would go like this.
This is the
Go back and watch the tape. That's what he would do. You might not want to do that. You might not want to do that. Secondly, Molly.
Where's your bodyguard?
Secondly, Heribone.
Your bodyguard needs to come and take you. Like on the cowboy shows when you have the police.
Come, hurry up, man.
Police arrest the fans.
Let me tell you something right now. Excuse me. Come here for a second, man.
Yeah.
The bodyguard is always here.
We love you.
The bodyguard is always here. The bodyguard is always here. That's number two. Appreciate you, baby. That's right. I'm safe. He can't hear you. He can't hear you, Molly. I can hear you. He can't hear you.
Okay,
Excuse me. The bodyguard is always around. The bodyguard is always around.
Yeah, how's things going in Denver?
Why is Molly interrupting me so much? Miss Herringbone this morning.
I was about to say, I was like, Molly, Molly's voice is just ringing in my ear, like all the time. She just goes on these rants. She like just interrupts people and goes on these rants. It's like, shut up. Boy, I can't stand Molly Kieran.
What's going on? Why are you interrupting me? Let me get my point out.
Go ahead.
Monica McNutt, I don't know if you noticed this. But I'm the executive producer of First Take as well, which means I got something to do with the question.
I understand.
There's nothing in that question that said this postseason.
I know. And
it said Jimmy Butler harder to guard than LeBron and KD. It did not say this postseason. You're creating a narrative.
Correct.
I do that.
You.
Not you. Not Jay Williams. You don't do that. Y'all think y'all slick. You tried to change it now that they gone from the postseason. Let me make up this last caveat to the question. That ain't the question. You said that Jimmy Butler's harder to guard than LeBron James and Kevin Durant. That's the question, not this postseason when they home and Butler's still playing. Y'all stop that. Jimmy Butler harder to guard than LeBron James and KD. That is blasphemous. And I love Jimmy. Jimmy Butler.
You know who I'm going to ask
Come
about
on
this?
now.
Who?
Y'all
Smith.
excessive with that.
Kenny the Jet Smith is coming on the show later. I'm going to bring this case back for him. And I'm going to ask him about this.
He would never say that.
This was not the
He's from Queens. That's my Queens brother right there.
This was not
Queens is in the building.
Pre-production meeting.
Queens, New York is in the building.
Not correct.
He will not say that.
Kenny
Smith will not say that.
Okay.
Bro, I feel like I am 6 minutes in this video, and I feel like nothing has been said as far as let's talk about this and debate about this. Nothing has been said so far. Nothing. Nothing.
promise you he will not say that.
Right now.
Don't you be pointing at me like that.
This postseason.
Stephen A., listen, enjoy Juvie while it
Take
lasts.
off my tie. Take off my tie.
He's
you don't
coming
deserve
to DR. Stephen A.'s coming to DR with me this summer and Columbia. So enjoy Juvie. Have fun.
Put the tie on Molly. Put the tie on Molly. She'll wear it with that suit. She'll try anything.
Don't be mad, Stephen A.
Put a tie on her.
We be picking up your little tricks.
Did you really take that from his office?
Oh, yeah.
Hit my boy up and tell him why you sent me this video. At no point did they ever address it. And honestly, to be honest, maybe that's better because honestly, if the question is, generally speaking, is Jimmy Butler harder to guard than LeBron James and Kevin Durant? Generally speaking, I think that's an overall consensus of no, hell no. So maybe it's better that they didn't even talk about this because I don't see any argument where you could say Jimmy Butler is harder to guard for the majority of the people than LeBron James or Kevin Durant. I just don't see it. Like why is this even a topic? Why? And people making a big deal right now about playoff Jimmy, but hey, and I saw this Too Raw for Sports put this out, and the video I was watching is at work or listening to rather. And I knew that Butler hasn't been hot as of late since that Bucks series. He's been wildly inconsistent largely. It was okay in New York. But I never actually went to look at the stats and, do the numbers and figure out the averages. But Too Raw did it. And he said since the Bucks series, Jimmy Butler's only averaging like 23 points on don't quote me on the numbers, but ballparking it. Jimmy Butler's averaging like 23 points on 42% field goal percentage. And not sure about the assists and rebounds. And yeah, he's had some big fourth quarters amongst his struggles. But with that being said, Jimmy hasn't been blistering hot like that on a consistent basis. And the reason why his overall numbers are pretty good is because how much damage he did in that Bucks series. He averaged 38 points per game or something like that. Don't quote me on the numbers. I'm ballparking, but you get you get the message. So listen, man, ain't no way on this planet, in this universe, or alternate universes through time and space is Jimmy Butler harder to guard than Kevin Durant and LeBron James. And y'all know me. I ain't no LeBron James fan. I ain't no LeBron James hater either. I'm indifferent to LeBron James, very neutral when it comes to him. Yes, there's some things he does I don't like, but the same thing can be said for a bunch of other players. And I can sit here and tell you, there are levels to this, right? Guarding LeBron James, for most people, is much more difficult than trying to guard Jimmy Butler. Besides, Jimmy Butler, Too Raw brought up a good point in another one of his videos that I had heard today too. Is Jimmy Butler doesn't really ball out like we see him do in the playoffs so much in the regular season. And so he said we get on Kawhi Leonard for taking time off and just trying to be ready for the playoffs and trying to be healthy for the playoffs and not taking the regular season as seriously. But you can say the same for Jimmy Butler. Why don't we see this version of Jimmy Butler throughout the regular season? And I heard what Jimmy says. He's like, I just do what my team asks for me on any given night. But if you're capable of doing this type of stuff, you should consider providing it to your team. But on the flip side, some teams don't value home court advantage. And I think at times home court advantage is a little bit overrated, especially if you are a team that can win on the road. As Miami Heat have proven that they are a team that can win on the road. But that is an interesting take, and I don't necessarily agree with it. Well, I don't necessarily disagree with it. So, yeah. Listen, man. It's not even that difficult. Jimmy Butler is not harder to guard than LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Simple. Even though Jimmy Butler is probably a bit better than LeBron James shooting in the mid-range and just shooting jump shots in general, but there's not that much separation in the jump shooting for me to put him over LeBron James, especially considering LeBron James' dominance in the paint and the playmaker that he is. There's levels to this, man. I'm sorry. And we all know who Kevin Durant is from a scoring perspective. Come on. That's all I got to say. I don't even know why this is a topic. I'm mad at you, bro, for even sending me this video because I watched this garbage. This ain't even the full video. There's like other topics they talk about in this video, but it doesn't have to do with the subject matter. So I just literally listened to these people yell at each other. Monica try to change the narrative to, let's talk about the playoffs. All right, let's talk about the playoffs. I already told you what his overall averages are. Y'all stuck on that Buck series. But anyway, and Molly's just screaming in my ear and interrupting. Her voice is so... It's like nails to the chalkboard, her voice. I don't know why. But anyway, that's it. I'm done. No more to talk about this. I'm out, baby.